I was having a conversation with my buddy the other day, and we kind of actually talk about this pretty often about how we lived a certain way, and now our kids are the kids that we kind of looked up to when we were kids because we didn't necessarily have it. And how do we avoid becoming the parent who gives them everything, even though that's why we work so hard? We want to give them what we didn't have, and trying to avoid falling into that trap.
I think the best thing we can do is give them the lessons.
Yeah, I agree.
We do get to a point where I don't want my kids to have to fish. I'll do the fishing and clean the fish, and I'll stockpile the fish. Whenever they want to fish, they can just pull it out the closet, right?
Yep.
But if I pass away or the pantry gets robbed, you're telling me your kid doesn't know how to put a worm on a hook?
Well, I agree.
They don't know how to cast the rod?
Yeah.
They don't know that when it jiggles, they're supposed to reel it in? You got to teach them how to fish.
Hey, family, this is Che Willis coming back with another episode of Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, this is episode 80. 80 weeks of consistency, 80 weeks of getting it done. I'm just so appreciative of all you guys tuning in. If you are a first-time listener, watcher, or subscriber, thank you so much for joining us. On this podcast, we talk about faith, family, and finances, among other things. If you are a return listener, watcher, or subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully, we are adding value to your lives on the way to the M's, because we are on the way to the M's. So, guys, today I have a family member on here, morning meetup family member. His name is Alistair Edwards. He is a savage when it comes to sales. And I believe I have him on here because a lot of entrepreneurs feel like they can just throw stuff out, put stuff out online, and people are just going to flock to him. Doesn't necessarily work like that. But he's going to give us some game on how to do sales better from an entrepreneurship standpoint. So, Alistair, thank you so much for joining us, brother. Thank you, man.
Well, thank you, man. I definitely appreciate you having me, man. It's always when you sent the text out or sent me the invite, I mean, it was an automatic yes. For the amount of value that you have brought to me and brought to the group and to the morning meetup, it was a no-brainer for me to be like, hey, if I could return the favor in any way, let me do it.
Bruh, I appreciate that, man. That really means a lot to me, man. Because based on where I came from when I started the morning meetup to where I am now, man, and for you to say that to me, it really means a lot, bro. It really does. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So how long have you been in the morning meetup, Alistair?
I don't know, man. It's probably 6 or 7 years.
Oh,
you know, I've known Dave since he was about 18. Dave worked with me when he was about 18 years old. When I first started with Legal Shield, which was back then was prepaid legal.
Okay.
Yeah, so Dave was a mentee of mine.
That's crazy. And now you're on his platform and kind of following him and getting mentorship from him, which is
I mean, I just love his growth, man. That young man has been such a student and an example of what it means to be a student of learning.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can honestly say he's never asked anything twice, meaning he listens with intent when he asks a question and implements. And I think that's where most people slip up, is in the implementation part. We all go to seminars, we all read books, we all, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But what do we implement from the information we've received?
Agreed.
And he's been a very good implementer, and you know, his results speak.
Absolutely, man. So we gonna take it back to the beginning, man. Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then we'll get into it.
Okay, you want me to take it all the way back?
We're gonna take it back, but tell us what you do now, and then we're gonna get into it. Yes.
Well, currently, right now, my two main things is I still focus on building my Legal Shield business. So I've been with Legal Shield now going on. This is on my 22nd year. And what we do is provide a legal and identity theft protection benefit. So families, individuals, small business owners have access to top rank attorneys nationwide for a small monthly fee. Right. And so I've marketed that service now for about 20 plus years, and been blessed to make quite a good residual income from that. And then about 7 years ago, I got elected, well, voted or honored as being trainer of the year for the company. So I had trained thousands of people in the sales force, and people outside of Legal Shield were like, hey, we not really want to sell that product, but we do need sales training. Do you do any sales training and coaching? And so that's when I launched Stair Steps LLC. So we do, sales training and coaching. So I have an online course, a 13 module course that I sell for about $9.97. And then I have a mastermind, a 90-day mastermind, where every quarter I work with a group of people. I try to keep it around 20 to 30 people. We do an intense 90-day sales training and coaching program, totally redirecting, first of all, their thinking, second, their habits, and then we grow their profit, right? We're in profit mode. So first month is revamping your thinking. All right. Second 4 weeks, we work on your habits. And then now that we've gotten you thinking right and you've gotten the right habits, all we need to do is plug in the right activity to help you 10x your business. And so that program is going quite well. And I have a lot of great support and contributors with that program too. Auntie Shaky, for example, and Erica are a part of that with the ACES program. We've included that into that session. And yeah, and then companies also hire me to come and work with their sales team. So I've done work for insurance companies, real estate companies, car dealerships that hire me to come in and do a 1-day or 2-day training on sales, and we help them grow their business.
Look at you, man. That's awesome, bro. I the one thing I love about talking to successful people is, what was that thing? Like, where did you come from to drive you to the person that you are today?
I'm blessed to have some great parents. I think it started early. Born in England to Jamaican parents. And so I grew up in Jamaica from the age of 3 to 14.
Okay.
And my dad was a general manager for a company called Blue Mountain Coffee, a famous Jamaican coffee. He was on their management team. And then my mom had her own store. So she had a craft shop, a very well established craft store where we sold a lot of local artists' craft and jewelry to tourists. And so I was behind the counter, I don't know, from the age of 5 or 6, I was behind the counter selling and collecting cash and giving back change, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot. I learned work ethic from my mother and entrepreneurship from my mother, my dad and my dad. And so I would say it started with that foundation.
Yeah.
We relocated to America when I was 15, and I started working with public supermarkets.
Yep.
So I became a bagger with public supermarkets. And one of the things my dad always taught me, he says, always dress the part of the position you want, not the position you have. So even though they gave me a polo shirt as a bagger, I went to work every day with a shirt and tie.
Oof.
And very quickly got promoted to the front end manager, got promoted to the stock group. You know what I mean? I was always looking ahead, even though whatever position I had, I was always acting as if I had the next position. So customers would always come in and think I was the manager on duty anyway, right? And so because I was acting as if it happened, and I ended up after I went to Florida A&M University, is where I graduated with my degree in business economics and political science. And the year I was graduating was same year they were Publix was moving into Atlanta to open up the Atlanta division. And I was asked to come with them. And so that's what I did. And I ended up being a store manager in the management positions with them for over 16 years, and retired from them in 2009 because I had started doing Legal Shield part-time in 2003. And then by 2006, it was matching my full-time income. But by 2009, it was matching my six-figure income and residual income.
In residual income.
And residual income. And so I decided to retire from working that corporate space and just work on building my residual income with Legal Shield. And so that's what I've been doing that and doing my sales training and coaching. And I love it.
Wow. So it was pretty much a no-brainer, because that's one of my desires at some point, is to leave my full-time job. And but you already knew, because it made financial sense for you to just go ahead and just roll.
So what I always tell people, especially if you have a full-time job and you're switching into entrepreneurship, continue to work your full-time job and give it everything you got and learn as much as you can.
Yep.
But build your financial freedom part-time.
Yeah.
So I still worked my 9 to 5. I still worked 50, sometimes 60 hours a week with Publix, but I still worked intensely for 5 or 10 hours a week with my Legal Shield business. So I always tell people, it's funny when people say I have a full-time job, and I always ask myself, or I'm working my business full-time, and I ask, well, are you giving it a full-time commitment? There's a difference between being on a job 40 hours or saying you're doing your entrepreneur business for 40 hours, but is that a committed 40 hours of work? So even though I was only working my Legal Shield business 5 to 10 hours a week, the 5 or 10 hours that I gave it, the hours that I was giving was intentional. It was income producing activity. It was grow my business activity. So my very first time with Legal Shield, my very first year with Legal Shield, I made $30,000 part-time, even though I was making $104,000 as a store manager with Publix.
Golly.
My second year, it went to a little over $50,000. My third year, it went to over $87,000. And my fourth year, it was $114,000. So I was making $104,000 with Publix, and I was making $114,000 part-time with Legal Shield. And then it went up again in 2008, went up again in 2009, and I still had my full-time job with Publix. But it's funny how it worked. I was constantly now I really wanted to stay with Publix, surprisingly. My next position would have been that of a district manager, but I kept getting passed over. I kept getting moved to stores. They would put me in stores that weren't doing well. I would turn them around and they'd say, hey, just do one more store. And then it would be just one more store. You know what I mean? And so I was getting disenchanted with that type of activity.
Yeah.
And I knew that I need to leave while I'm still in good standing.
Sure. And that right there, that happened to me at my previous job. And my thing is like, if you know that this person can do the job and they're turning things around on a small scale at a store level, why wouldn't you think that they can do it on a broader scale? It makes
and the hard reality is, and again, I say in my opinion, I was qualified. Most of the people that got promoted ahead of me were people I trained, right? So
you go.
But what I've also noticed, a phrase was told to me once: access and inheritance will always outproduce hard work and education. So sometimes it's who you know.
Yep.
Can make the difference in who gets promoted.
Yeah.
Right. Which did my manager or did the other guy's manager? Did my district manager or did the other guy's district manager play golf with the regional manager? Right?
Yeah.
So it all depends on there's always a human factor in corporate America when it comes to promotions.
Yeah. Did you go ahead? I'm sorry.
And that's why I say, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're in corporate, relationships are everything. Building relationships was everything. And I was under the assumption hard work was going to be the key difference. I was the more educated. I had the college degree. I had you know what I mean? On paper,
yeah,
I thought I would be the better candidate, but it is what it is. But but again, I think everything happens for a reason. Everything had to happen that way for me to be where I am right now.
100%, bro. And that's a very, very good perspective. And again, I don't really like it, but I understand it. And I think that's kind of what jaded me from forming relationships outside of work and inside of work, because I'm like, I can do the job. I don't want to have to be buddy buddy with this person. I don't want to do that. I want to do my job. I want to do it well, and I want to go home and
And
leave.
be rewarded for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like you got to play this whole game of do your job well, and you got to be in good standing, and you got to play golf with this person, have a good time with this person. I don't want to do that, man. I want to go home, man. I want to enjoy my family and all those things. And I'm starting to realize now the power of the relationship, like just outside of work, like the relationships I formed within the morning meetup have been invaluable to me, man, because like I'm learning different things from you or Dave or people inside like Shaky, and I'm learning things from people, and I'm forming these bonds with you guys, and I'm getting so much game and so much value. I'm like, I should have been doing this from a long time ago, but being in corporate jaded me from that, because I don't want to have the brown nose, but it's not brown nose. You understand what I'm saying though? It's like I don't want.
I clearly get it. I've been there, done that. Yeah, I get it.
Gee whiz, man. So so you went to Legal Shield, and then was it you were like, how does that work as far as like you being a district manager for them, regional manager? How does that work?
So Legal Shield is different. It's really a network marketing company,
Okay.
multi-level marketing company. It just so happens that it has different divisions. We have what we call a wheel of opportunity. Our core product is our legal plan and our identity theft plan. And then we have legal plans for small businesses. We have legal plans for commercial drivers. We have legal plans for law enforcement officers. So there are supplements that we have. A gun owner's legal plan for people that own a gun. If they ever find themselves in a situation where they have to defend themselves, their entire trial defense is covered with our gun over legal plan. You know what I mean? So that's the product and service that we sell.
Mm-hmm.
There is a network marketing side where people join the business. They pay a one-time fee of $49 to become an associate, and they share that information with their friends and family. Depending on if they're starting out brand new and they sell, let's say, a legal and identity theft plan, their first sale, they're going to get a $70 deposit within 24, 48 hours. Once they've sold 5, it goes up to $120 every time they make a sale. Once they've sold us at the next level, it goes up to 140. It goes all the way up to over $380 every time you sit down with someone and just share the information with them. So what I liked about it is there was no inventory. There was no product or services. I didn't have to pre-order at a wholesale price and then try and mark it up to make some money. It was just simply me sharing the information with people. If they liked it, they signed up. They paid their monthly. I got paid up front, right? Now, if that customer keeps that membership long term, and it goes past month 13 and they're paying their monthly premium, I'm eligible for 10% of that premium. Every month, every time they make a payment, I get a payment. Lifetime residual income.
Wow.
If the customer is happy with the product or service, so all I had to focus on was one, being able to communicate the value of the service to people. That's where the sales comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, build a strong enough relation then to understand and let them understand it to the point where they want to keep it long term. That's where my residual income comes in. Now, the network marketing side says we share that with friends and family. You meet someone, you tell them about it, you sign them up, you ask them who they know. They say, well, I know my friend, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you build an organization. There's a second side of the business, which is what I call B2B or direct selling, where we take the same product and service, and I may say to a business owner, hey, I see you have 20 employees. Is it okay if I come in and do a lunch and learn and educate them on a legal and identity theft plan? I go in there, do a 15-minute presentation. There's 50 people in the room. Let's say 10 of them sign up and the company's paying me $200 per person. For a 15-minute presentation, I walk out $2,000 richer.
Golly.
I protected 10 people with the services. Mm-hmm. I got $200 per person. And now I got 20 customers that now have this service that if they have it 12 months from now, I now start receiving 10% residual income for the lifetime of their payments. And so that's how I built that business. So majority of my team is I do meet and recruit through the network marketing side, but majority of my team, I try to put through the direct selling side. So I may recruit them and launch their business through the network marketing side. But my goal is to find people that go out and are willing to just go straight ham on the direct selling side. So I got a young man, for example, Martavius Hillman. This is going his 4th year in the business. Last 12 months, part-time, 200,000 is what he's made. I got an Atlanta police officer, Farrah Shelley, part-time with me. Last 12 months, a little over 100, about 106,000 part-time. Still a full-time Atlanta police officer, still doing her job. And part-time on her days off, she goes out and talks to companies or other police departments about having our legal plan for me. And
Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Are you tired of using your credit cards as an emergency fund? Are you tired of getting stressed out anytime you think about money? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, I'm here to help. My name is Che Willis, and I help families living paycheck to paycheck live the life that they want to live through budgeting and investing. And I understand the word budgeting may be scary. However, we're trying to take the fear out of that word. All we're doing is telling our money where to go, as well as reducing our expenses and taking that money, marching it into the marketplace, and making us some money babies. That's all we're doing. So if you need help, please go to wealthisajourney.com. Again, wealthisajourney.com. There are free resources on there for budgeting tools. There are digital products on there to help you on your investing journey. And there's one-on-one coaching. So if you need help, go to wealthisajourney.com today. I look forward to seeing you soon.
I got an attorney in Florida that part-time, her first year with me did 190,000 part-time.
Bro, that's I want to stay right here for a second, because I feel like this is a where a lot of entrepreneurs can get a lot of gain right here, because I feel like we go to the onesie twosies and we get just 1 and 2 people. But if we talk to a broad audience, 50 people, 100 people, we can catch more fish in a larger barrel. If that
But don't get me wrong, both formulas work.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in the network marketing system, because there's also the override factor. What do I mean by that? If you join the business, you come in, you start off as an associate, you're making $70 on your first sale. You do 5 of those, you now get promoted, you're now making $90, right? You got a $20 pay raise. I'm one of the new people you bring in. I go make my first sale, I get paid $70. You're going to get the differential, because they have a differential comp plan. So you're going to get a $20 commission on this $70 commission I got. Mm-hmm. Even though I made the sale, because I'm a part of your team and you are the next position above me, you get the override. So just think, if my first day I went out and I sold 10 memberships, I would have made $700, 70 times 10. You'd have made $200. You'd have made, you know what I mean? Yeah. You'd have got $20 every sale I made. So if you have, so on the network marketing side, let's say I recruit 20 people and they all go out today and sell 2, 4, 6, 5, 10 memberships, and I'm getting a $20 override from all these 20 people in their book of business, that's still a good amount of income also. So my first year when I did 30,000, that was all network marketing. I didn't start doing B2B sales until about my second year is when I started.
Now, can you do it? Like, do you have to sell a certain amount to be able to do that, or can you could just go?
You can join and start any way you want. You decide what's best for you. So I have income that comes from a team, right? From the network marketing side and from the override that they do. And then I have income that comes from my direct selling, and then overrides from my direct selling team also.
So let's talk a little bit more about the Legal Shield piece, if you can. I don't know how much you can say or whatever, but I know some people would say, oh, well, network marketing is a scam. I'm not saying that I feel that way, but some people may feel that way.
Right.
How do you kind of get over that part of it? I'm sure you faced that.
Yeah. And it's funny part, I know exactly how they feel. I felt the same way. Right. You know where I'm going, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I already know what time. That's why I started laughing.
Already dropping them sales notes on it. I know exactly how you feel. I had joined, so ever since college, I've been a part of some network marketing opportunity. So when I was in college, my sister, who was 5 years older than me, was with Amway, all right, network marketing company. She used to get the tape of the month. Most of my motivational and early motivational experience was listening to a cassette of positive reinforcement every single week from Amway tape of the month, right? When I was in college, I worked with a company I sold books door to door and got recruited into a company called New Skin.
Okay.
It was a soap and it was facial. Anyway, did that for a couple months. It didn't end up working out there, but I liked the concept. And then I started working with a company called Metaluca.
I heard of that.
Vitamins, soaps, stuff like that. Did that for a little bit. And then got burned out on that. And then I got introduced to a company that, what was the name of this company? But anyway, company went belly up. And I said to myself, I would never do another network marketing company again. I wrote it off completely. And the gentleman that recruited me to the Legal Shield just happened to be one of my vendors when I was a store manager at Publix. And he asked me one day to come to a hotel meeting. And the minute he said hotel meeting, I knew exactly what it was. I was like, nah, bro, not interested. And he would come to my store every single week for about 6 months, like every week. And it was a Friday afternoon. I'm packing my stuff up to go home. And I look up on the cameras and I see him walk in. And he's coming through the front door. I immediately call my front office cashier and I say, hey, that guy that just walked in, he's going to ask for me. You tell him I'm not here. And then I hung up and I just looked at the cameras waiting. She did exactly what I told her to do. And he walked over to the magazine rack and just stood there. Started looking at magazines, which was right outside of my office. I wanted to go. I already had a 12-hour day. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
I walk out and I said to him, I said, Ron Green, what part of no don't you understand? And he said the one thing that changed my entire life. He says, is it fair to say, Mr. Edwards, that most of your good decisions are usually made when you have 100% of the facts? I say, yeah. He says, all I want you to do is come and get 100% of the facts, evaluate it for yourself. And he says, if you don't like what you see, I'll never bother you again. He says, but if you don't come, I'll be here again next week. So the only reason I went to this meeting was to get this guy to stop bugging me. That's the only reason I went. But what I saw just made sense. To be able to talk to an attorney on limited amount of times, free consultations, to be able to have that attorney after the discussion say, well, look, I think a letter or a phone call will make a difference. Let me write a letter or make a phone call for you. To get your will done for you and your spouse and get it updated every year at no charge, including your living will, your medical health care directive, right? If you or anyone in your family gets a moving violation, speeding ticket, you just call, fax the ticket over to the law firm, and they have an attorney go to court for you for free. Make sure there are no points on your license if they can. To be able to consult with someone, if you ever get audited, a tax audit, you now have a tax attorney to consult with you and help you through that situation at no cost. If you are ever sued in a civil lawsuit, you already have 60 hours of an attorney's trial time already prepared and on reserve. And all of that for just $30 a month, it was a no-brainer for me.
That's great. So let me ask you this. So if like you would pay for a retainer for a lawyer, thousands of dollars, especially if they're
Thousands.
Yeah. So why it makes sense to me why they would go to you, but why wouldn't everybody just go and do Legal Shield? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
I ask that question every day, especially when people tell me, no, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I ask that question every day. But here's what I realized. Everything's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I firmly believe everybody should have a life insurance policy. Some type of insurance policy, but everyone doesn't.
That's a fact.
They would rather die and let their family do the fish fry and the GoFundMe than have some type of, that's a choice.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a smart choice, but that's the choice they have chosen. Who am I to argue with them about that?
Wow.
Think about it. If car insurance wasn't a requirement for you to drive your car, 50% of the people that have it right now wouldn't even have it because it's too much of a monthly expense.
For sure.
Would you agree?
I 100%.
It goes for homeowners insurance. The reason they mandated homeowners insurance is because they knew 50% of the people buying a home wouldn't put insurance on it. I'm gonna take my chances that I'm gonna be a good cook and I ain't gonna leave the fire on and burn the house down.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you already know what I do. So that's a necessity. Like having a budget is a necessity, in my opinion, because I know what it means.
It's mandatory, bro.
Yeah,
But if we don't mandate things for people and we make it optional for them, sad to say, in my opinion, 60% of them are going to make the wrong decision. They're going to make the short-term financial decision. I would rather not pay $30 a month, is what they're going to say, to have a law firm on standby in case I need one, and just take my chances and hope I don't ever need one. But if I do need one, I got to pay a $2,000 retainer. Bro, if you pay $30 a month for 5 years, it would still be less than the retainer most attorneys are going to ask you for when you have a major legal case.
that's a fact.
Why not pay the $30 a year? I pay $75 a month for American Home Shield.
Yep.
Not because I want to pay $75 a month. It's because I don't want to pay $3,000 when my damn AC breaks, like it did the other day. I would rather know that I already had $75 retainer through Home Shield. They sent a guy over here. He did all the work. He replaced everything, and it didn't cost me anything extra.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I always say to people, you either going to pay now a small fee, or you're going to break the bank later when the accident happens.
Bro, you sound like me talking to a potential client.
I would just rather get in the habit of paying the small fee. I know exactly what all my monthly expenses are. I know exactly what I pay for homeowners. I know exactly what I pay for my home shield. I know exactly what I pay for my legal shield, right? But I also know if anything breaks in those areas, if I have a car issue or anything, I'm not going deep into my pocket trying to figure out how do I handle this.
Yeah.
My 2016, 2017, I had a Hyundai and the engine blew. The car dealer wants to charge me $3,000 for a used engine, $6,000 for a new engine, and labor and parts. That was my option. I hang up with him. I call Legal Shield.
Mm-hmm.
The attorney says, "Give me the make and the model. Let me do some research." He calls me back later. He says, "Mr. Edwards, there's a recall on that model. You mind if I write a letter to Hyundai corporate for you?" Fire it off. 7 days later, the dealer calls me back and says, "Hey, Mr. Edwards, good news. Got a call from our corporate office. They're shipping us a brand new engine for your car. I'll have it in about 2 or 3 days. It'll take me 3 days to install it. And once it's completed, you can come pick the car up." Our corporate office is picking up the tab. So had I not had Legal Shield, I would have been frustrated, first of all. Where I was at that time in life, I probably would have told him, "Keep the car. You can have it."
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not about to pay you $8,000 to fix this thing.
Yeah.
Right. But instead, a simple letter from a service I'm only paying $30 a month got me a brand new engine in the car. The car's still outside today, running like a brand new car.
I mean, that's a great story to tell to somebody who is on the fence about it. You know what I'm saying?
So I always say to people, man, we all have decisions and choices to make.
Mm-hmm.
Just be prepared to live with your decision and choices that you make.
Yeah. Now you're right.
$30 a month now, or $3,000 one time up front when you need it.
I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. So Alistair, you talked about selling a product. The product is $29.99. You made, I'm sure, millions of dollars at this point, right? Either you selling it or having your team selling it for you, right?
Yep.
So what do we say?
No, I say yeah, it's close to 5 million.
So tell me about you branching off and how that actually happened, like the process of you branching off to actually going from selling Legal Shield to now having your own sales firm, I'll say.
Okay. So I just had people who would join Legal Shield and then decide they want to go do real estate or do something else. And they were still asking me questions about how to sell. So I was like, well, here's what I had to realize. The hard part I had to realize is not everybody wants to do. To me, I'm like, it's the easiest thing. It's a $30 product. You share it with people, you make money. Why you want to go do anything else?
Yeah.
Right? But everybody else has their own journey, their own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with that. Not everybody's going to do what you do. Not everybody's going to do what I do. Not everybody's going to buy my product. Not everybody's going to partner with you and do your services. We just have to find our avatar and find our tribe.
Correct.
But what I did realize is no matter what they decide to do, they still got to learn how to sell it, market it, and convey their message to people to get people to buy it, right? That's the only way they're successful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to learn that not everybody's going to make not everybody's wealth is going to be created through network marketing. Just like not everybody else's wealth is going to be created through the stock market. Not everybody's wealth is going to be created through fitness. And you know what I mean? Everybody's going to have their avenue. But what is common in all of those avenues is you have to have a sales skill of learning how to properly package your message, how to convey your message, and to convince someone that that message is for them in order for there to be a cash transaction for you to make any living with it. And I saw people struggling with that on a regular basis.
Mm.
People would give me sales pitches, the longest sales pitch ever, and at the end of the pitch, I still wouldn't know what exactly it was they were selling, right? We've seen that. You're in the morning meetup every morning. We hear people give their pitches, and we're like, okay, so, but what is it you're selling?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right? So I was tired of seeing people being frustrated, especially when they were passionate about what they had, their product or service or whatever it is they were a part of. They were very passionate about it. And the only problem is their communication of it.
Mm.
And I'm like, man, I could help a lot of people if I could just teach them the proper way to communicate selling your product or service to people. And I realized I could make money doing it, right? There's a need out there. And so that's why I created the Stair Steps to Sales Masterclass, right? 13 modules talking about how to find your perfect customer, prospecting, having what we call a decision maker meeting or a meeting with the perfect client, right? What does it look like in closing the sale? How do you close the sale? How do you ask for the money? There are a lot of people that do a great job of telling people about what they do. People are actually interested in what we do, but we forget to say, well, here's what it costs and here's how you can get it.
Yeah.
How soon you want it, right?
Yeah.
They freeze up when it comes time to asking for the money. And so you got a lot of people assuming they're making a lot of money because they do such a great presentation conveying the information, but they never ask for the sale. And then we wonder why they went out of business. It's because they didn't know the art of closing the sale.
Yeah. So how do you get people over the fear of some people feel dirty asking for money? I mean, I don't know if it's a psychological thing from when they were kids or whatever the case may be, but like, how do you get people over that fear of doing that?
First of all, I need to know what is your belief and passion in what you're selling.
Yeah.
Right? So one of the biggest ways to get over the fear of selling is stop selling.
Yep.
I don't care whether you buy a Legal Shield membership from me or not. I do care that you know it's available. Because I'm a firm believer that it's going to be a game changer for your life. The fact that I can call and ask a question to an attorney in any situation and get clarity before I make a decision is priceless. I think you should have that. I'm mission driven, not commission driven. So I'm trying to get people who sell, no matter what it is, what is your mission for selling it? I can firmly tell you if your only reason for selling a certain product or service is just my humble opinion, is just to make money, you won't be doing it for long.
That's a fact.
Because there are going to be days you're not going to make no money.
Yep.
You're going to figure out, well, I need to go make money doing something new. And those are the people who you see shift from network marketing company to network marketing company or from business to business to business because they're chasing the money.
Yes. Yep.
Right? I'm a firm believer of find out something, and what you find may not be what you may think. I want to sell cupcakes because I love cupcakes. That may not be the thing that you need to be selling, because there might not be a big enough money for you to go sell a lot of cupcakes, depending on how you're selling it, right? But you still can find something that you're passionate about. Yes, I love making cupcakes, but I also don't want to see anybody die without a will. So you're saying there's a legal plan where people can get their wills done and not have to pay $800-900 to get it done? I'm still passionate, even though cupcakes is my hobby. I can make real money selling this, and I can sell cupcakes on the side.
Yeah.
The problem is some people say, oh, I'm gonna pass up on that opportunity because I'm gonna sell cupcakes on the side and make millions.
Unless you're the cake boss or something like that, you know.
And until you know her story, you'll understand that don't happen overnight.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And so it's getting people to understand, don't feel grimy about selling, feel happy about telling people about something that's going to change their life. It could be a t-shirt. I don't care what your message is, right? What does stock up mean for you?
Man, it means continue to invest. And then the stock will eventually go up and you're gonna make a ton of money.
Right?
Yeah.
There. So I'm not here to really make $10, $20 off of this t-shirt. The reason I want you to have a stock up t-shirt is to constantly remind you of the fact that investing in stock can totally change your financial future.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
I'll sell more shirts that way. Because the stock up has to mean something, not just to you, it has to mean something to the person that's wearing it.
Correct.
Right? I'm gonna get a stock up shirt because I'm investing in stock now. And I know that it's gonna make sure that my stocks go up.
Yep.
You understand?
Yeah, family's gonna be good. Yeah, all the things, man.
So it's always talking about how do we communicate our message to people of what it is we're selling and why we're selling it. What's the story behind what you're selling?
Yeah.
And why you chose to sell that. And so we teach that in the sales course. We teach you how to figure out what your story is. We teach you how to craft your 1-minute effective sales elevator pitch. We teach you all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if somebody wanted to work with you, do you have a website and all that stuff? Because I want to put that all in the description and all that stuff.
Yep, everything's already ready. Let me.
No, I'll do it. I just want to make sure that you have all that.
Oh, yeah.
You want to work with you, it's already done. They could just click a couple buttons and we rocking.
Okay.
Yeah. I got a question for you. I was talking to my boy, and this may not even apply to you, but I want to know, you have kids?
3.
Okay. So one of the things that I feel like some of us didn't grow up with a lot of money, right? And we want to give our kids everything that we never had. Did you fall into that? How did you avoid that?
Because I was able to go to college with kids that got everything.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I had friends that were given everything.
Yeah.
They were friends of mine, but there were certain aspects about their personality that I thought was pretty messed up.
Because they were given everything.
That entitlement, that daddy'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Daddy'll get me out of it.
Yeah.
I didn't want that for my kids.
Yeah, that's good, man. I was having a conversation with my buddy the other day, and we kind of actually talk about this pretty often about how we lived a certain way, and now our kids are the kids that we kind of looked up to when we were kids, because we didn't necessarily have it. And how do we avoid becoming the parent who gives them everything, even though that's why we work so hard? We want to give them what we didn't have, and trying to avoid falling into that trap.
I think the best thing we can do is give them the lessons.
Yeah, I agree.
We do get to a point where I don't want my kids to have to fish. I'll do the fishing and clean the fish, and I'll stockpile the fish. Whenever they want to fish, they can just pull it out the closet, right?
Yep.
But if I pass away or the pantry gets robbed, you're telling me your kid doesn't know how to put a worm on a hook?
Well, I agree.
They don't know how to cast the rod.
Yeah.
They don't know that when it jiggles, they're supposed to reel it in. You got to teach them how to fish.
Yeah.
And the only way, and even if I was to walk them through it, if I was just to write it down how it was done, and God forbid something happened to me and they had to do it, the first time they had to grab a worm, they would probably squirm and not even do it. The fear of the worm would stop them.
Yeah.
Or even if they got past the worm, the first time the cord jerk, it might scare them.
Yeah.
You have to give them the experience. You have to take them fishing.
Yeah.
I don't want to grab the worm. Pick the damn worm up.
You'll thank me later. You'll thank
me later.
Yeah.
Pick the damn worm up.
Yeah.
Now hook it. Now cast. Right? You got to walk them through the process. So when you're not around, it still becomes second. It's still second nature to them.
Yeah.
Work ethic has to be second nature to your kids. I think the biggest problem we have with today's society is everything's instant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you hungry? Insta DoorDash.
Yep.
Movie tickets.
Yeah.
Right? Work ethic is everything, man. The person that has the knowledge, the know-how, and the work ethic is the person that's going to take over the world in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
Think about it. God forbid, we've seen it happen. If technology was to crash for a day,
in trouble.
Trouble.
I remember when Instagram went down a couple years ago, bro. People were in a frenzy.
Trouble. Shoot, I got friends that got AT&T and their phones went down for a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Trouble.
No, I think this is a really good conversation, man, because a lot of us have made more money than our parents have ever made, and then we feel like, hey, let's just, we living out here, we just gonna give our kids everything we didn't have. And there's trouble that we don't see as a result of giving our kids everything that we didn't have. Like, giving the kids things is fine, but they need to know how to do stuff. They need to know how, if they fail at something, how to overcome. Because if you're there to clean up the mess and give them everything, then when you're no longer here, like you said, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be somebody else's problem when you're no longer here.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, my kids have access to me. So if there's a situation where they need anything, they'll have it. But I'm just not going to randomly overly supply them with everything.
Correct.
I'm not going to coddle them or solve every problem for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to give them the opportunity to try and figure it out.
Yeah. No, that's good. I think I remember Dave was talking about his dad and how his dad would, every time he asked a question, he would ask him, "What do you think?"
What do you think? Yep.
To get him to think on his own. And to my point earlier, you'll thank me later. Like, it sucked at the time, I'm sure. Like, Dad, just give me the answer. I know you know. Just tell me. No. What do you think?
My dad used to say things like that. What would you do if I wasn't here?
Yeah.
I would go ask him something and he'd say, what would you do if I wasn't here?
That's important, man. It hurts. I'll tell you, man, it hurts to see your kids struggle. But I feel like if they struggle early on and then overcome, then they'll be so much better off for it, man. At any facet in life.
Yeah. You know, you see it in, and you know, some people may be mad at me for saying this, but you see it in how, and that's why I think fathers are so important. Your first time your child falls down, if the mother and the father in the room, the child falls down and cries.
Yeah.
What's the mother's first instinct?
Go get him.
Run over there, grab him, pick him up. You okay?
Yeah.
What's dad's first instinct?
Let him go.
Let him go.
Yeah.
He'll be all right. And what happens when for the child that runs over, when the child that got that whose mom ran over and picked them up. What happens? They fall down again, and what happens?
They're looking for the mom.
Yeah, but not only that, they purposely fall down now.
Yeah.
So somebody can what? Come pick me up. The child, when the dad said, "Hey, hold on, honey, let him sit,"
Yeah.
looks around and realizes nobody's coming. All of a sudden, he stops crying, and what does he do?
Stop falling.
He start get up.
Yeah.
Start falling.
Yep.
Because that's not going to get me that attention I'm seeking. And I try to tell parents sometimes, you wonder why you're so frustrated or overwhelmed sometimes is because you've created this dependency.
Yeah.
To where now the child always knows how to get your attention and stress you out.
For sure.
Because I don't have to do nothing because mommy and daddy going to do it all for me. No,
Yeah.
I never coddle my kids.
Yeah. The best, I told this on this podcast before I told the story, but I remember when I was 13 years old, I was still in middle school, and my dad called me upstairs and say, "Hey, come on up here real quick." I'm like, all right, cool. I'm all right. I sit on the bed. He's like, "Yeah, so just want to let you know you're going into high school next year. You got 4 years to figure it out. But either you're going into the military, you're going to school, or you're going to get a job. But by the time you come 18, you're out of here." I'm like, "Fam, what I do to you?" Like,
same conversation, man.
bro,
Your and my dad went to the same school.
crazy, bro.
My dad told me, he said, "Look, I was acting up in school when we had the conversation." He came to me, and I just knew it was going to be a rough night for me. He was so calm. He says, "Look, it seems like you like to act up in school." He says, "Look, you're 16." He said, "I just need you to know when you turn 18, you'll be considered a man. And in every house, there's only one man, and this house is mine."
Mm,
He said, "If you don't get your act together now, you're only going to have three options. Like you said, you're going to have to get a job, you're going to go to the military, or society's going to put you in jail."
man.
He says, the only option I can promise you you will not have is living here.
Mm, I like that.
I got my act together.
Yeah.
I graduated at 17. I haven't been back home since. Right?
Yeah. I feel like that's the best thing you could do for your kid. And some people may not agree with it. Oh, well, he's 17, 18, and they're not even mature yet, but they got to figure it out though. And the earlier they figure it out, the better off they'll be. Now, you're not going to let them fail, like completely fall off a cliff. You're there, and hopefully before that even happened, you were giving them the lessons, the advice, how to do things, how to take care of your money and how to take care of yourself. Like
You're
my
teaching them how to fish along the way.
right.
Yeah.
And my son, he cooks his own. He just turned 13. He cooks his own food now. He does all those things, and I applaud him for that. But he's not going to realize what he's doing now until he gets out on his own and he sees his friends like, "Yo, what am I going to eat?" Like, I'm a cook. Oh, now I'm gonna order DoorDash. Like, now I can cook my own food, and it's gonna save me a ton of money.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
so many lessons, bro.
You'll be surprised how many people can't cook, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Funny story. Funny, funny story. My some of my best friends in Ardmore, where I grew up, were Jamaican, right? This has nothing to do with nothing, but I figure it's a funny story when we talk about food. So I go over my man's house, and they make jerk chicken. Amazing, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. So once I start cooking on my own, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna make jerk chicken like they do. I chop up the scotch bonnet peppers, I do all the things, chop up everything, garlic and all that. And I'm like, yo, I made this jerk chicken, try it. They're like, oh, this is amazing. Great. Like, how did you do it? I was like, yo, I chopped up this. They was like, oh, we used Walker's wood, the seasoning.
Seasoning.
Like, fam, I thought y'all was making your own stuff all this time. But I just thought that was a funny story to be talking about cooking. But I love to cook, bro. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fire. I'm hell on the grill, bro. I love to grill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Seasoning food and grilling is my thing, man. That's my piece.
Yes, yes, yeah. Me too, bro. Smoking ribs. I don't even eat meat.
Oh, jerk, anything.
All of it. Yeah, man. And now that we're talking about this, when I come down to Atlanta, whenever I come down there, we got to play golf, man. Too. I remember you said you play. We
Most
got
definitely.
to get it. We got to get around then, bro. But hey, man, I wanna first again thank you for being on here. But I want to go back, if you don't mind, to the sales piece, because again, this podcast is watched by entrepreneurs and people trying to get their business right. And I feel like you can't just put your stuff online and put your stuff on Instagram all the time and think people are just going to buy. So with your sales program, uh, and I know you mentioned it before, what are three valuable lessons that they're going to get from taking your sales program?
Well, first of all, I always tell people to figure out, first of all, what is it that you want to sell?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that you're selling, what problem does it solve? And then figure out who has that what? Who has that problem?
Yes, sir.
And then your only goal now is to figure out, how do I communicate to the person who has the problem that I have the solution? And so that's all sales is properly communicating to someone that I understand that you have a problem, or you're missing something, or something that would enhance your life, and I have it. Right. And I always tell them to, value over price will always win.
Yeah.
If I was to wake up tomorrow with a massive headache and I went to the store and nobody had a Tylenol or an aspirin, and all of a sudden there was a shortage on painkillers, and you say to me, hey, I still have a pill in the room, but I'm selling it for $50. I'm not going to argue with you about the $50.
Yep.
There's a shortage. My head is hurting.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out where I'm going to get what?
That money.
Where am I getting $50 from? Because the value is there for me. The $50 is me giving you $50 is less painful than the headache I'm having right now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with every product and service. How do you get your customers to understand that I have the value and this is the price for it? As long as you're not charging some ridiculous price, and you're actually, if you can convince your customer that what you're going to receive for what you're paying is way more valuable than what you're actually paying for it, it's not a hard sell.
Right.
It's not a hard sell. So that's what we teach. We teach you how to communicate the value of your product or service, and how to properly communicate that to your customer.
And anybody who is listening or watching this podcast, he just taught on the morning meetup a 2-day training, and it was amazing. And I do sales for a living, and the nuggets that he was dropping and how easy it just rolled off and was conveyed to us. I was like, man, why haven't I been doing this? And I know better because I do sales. So it's insane. So if you are struggling in your business with sales, with making money, how to convey your message, and who your target market is, and audience and avatar, please come see this man. He's a savage. I'm telling you.
I appreciate that endorsement, man. And for his audience, you probably already know, but if you want to know how to create the perfect budget, understand where your money is going, how to gain extra money, and how to properly invest that extra money, make sure you tap in with this brother. He has done an amazing job of getting people's finances back on track. So,
bro, I
kudos
appreciate that, man.
for what you're doing, brother.
I appreciate you, fam. Like that, Alistair, man, you the GOAT, man, and that means a lot for you to be on this platform and for you to say those words about me, man. Thank you, man.
Well, I always rock with people that are proven.
Mm-hmm.
I won't endorse anyone that hasn't proved themselves. I remember when you first joined the morning meetup, and I've watched your growth over the years in the morning meetup. And when you share value, and you make a difference in people's lives. And so I'm a firm believer in giving people their flowers while they're here.
My man, that means a lot.
So congratulations on what you're doing.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much, man. Well, Alistair, I'm going to put your information in the description. So if people do want to talk to you about either Legal Shield or your sales training class or course, master class, hopefully they'll reach out to you and get right in their business, man. Because people need you out here, fam. So
I appreciate it, family.
absolutely, man. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Wealth is a journey. We will see you next week.